Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Forward Line. I am back this week with the edit. This is our weekly roundup of new sewing pattern releases. We've got some really nice stuff this week actually. I'm going to get started with Telco Magazine, which has just arrived. Anyone who's pre-ordered it, it should be either with you or winging its way to you as we speak. So if you're unfamiliar with them, it's a relatively new sewing pattern magazine. They come with about 10 patterns in each issue. The patterns come in the back kind of folded like so. I've got one here, printed in colour. The pieces are overlapped, so you will need to trace them off, but they're actually printed in colour, so it's quite easy to do that. And each issue has a theme. So this is actually the second issue on the theme of the artist, which I thought was really interesting because they obviously had so much stuff from the first one that they've kind of done it into a double bumper issue. So this is the second one, which is about the artist, and I really love it. So there are patterns in it, and there are really great articles as well to kind of run alongside the theme. So let me show you a couple of the patterns to give you an idea of what is in this issue. So one of the ones that I really loved is the Felix here, which is almost, looks a bit, it's like a tabard, but I was thinking this would be quite a useful item, obviously, for anyone who makes painting or sewing or whatever you do. So it sort of wraps and ties at the back, which I thought was a really interesting sort of concept. And I thought it was really probably something that would be quite useful for quite a lot of us. The other one that I really loved was this prism sort of over blouse, over shirt. I thought this one, the long version, was really interesting shape-wise. And then what was the other one that I really loved? Oh, a really great quilted boxy jacket, which, you know, very much on trend and useful, great for spring. I love a quilted jacket. And then there's, which is on the cover actually, a really gorgeous kind of boiler suit. Let me show you so you can see here. Kind of quite kind of all the classic features that you'd expect on a boiler suit. But it's a really love, and the articles in it are really good. I was just reading one actually before I got started. But the thing that's inspired this whole episode is the book What Artists Wear, and I actually read this last summer. So if you haven't read it yet, it's a really lovely book. It's a series of essays about artists and what they wore and the power of dressing, and it's a really interesting academic kind of view on dress, but kind of done really creatively. It's a lovely book if you haven't read it, so that, you know, maybe get the book and the magazine, and then you're like double parked for good stuff to read. So that's the first thing, Telco, which I'm really, and also everyone was laughing at me last week about the smell of magazines. This one also smells very good. And when you get it, just have a sniff and you'll agree. It just smells lovely. It's a sign of a good magazine. So next up, we've got, last week I was talking about Quilt Folk magazine. And this week we've got a quilt designer. So we're starting to add some quilt patterns to the site. We thought it might be nice. I know lots of people do dressmaking and do quilting, and so we thought it would be really nice to have a few quilting patterns on there. So the designer that we've got is called Lou Orth. She's a British designer. Some of her quilts are absolutely gorgeous, really modern. There are also some really nice storage things on there as well. They're just beautiful, her quilts. So I'll show you a selection to give you an idea. She always uses a really beautiful colour palette and quite modern quilting, but they are totally beautiful. So if you are thinking you want to kind of tap into quilting, this could be a nice person to go and check out. Her designs are really beautiful, and they're not actually kind of really complicated ones. So if you are relatively new to quilting, there are a few of them in here, which I think you would be very much safe to do. So yeah, if there's any quilting designers that you'd like us to have on the site, do let us know, because we are sort of starting to dip our toe into the quilting world. And the lovely Mel, who is who's our customer service person, is an absolute quilting ninja. So she has been helping us like pick things, because I've made a few quilts, but I'm not by any means, well, I have no idea what I'm doing. So it's really nice to have someone who actually is really good at it, makes a lot of quilts, and has recommended some of these. So on to dressmaking particularly. Now we've got the Merchant & Mills Corley Dress, which is so gorgeous. Merchant & Mills at the moment are just bringing out the best patterns. So it's PDF only at the moment. Again, with classic, it will become paper at some point, but it will probably be a few months. This is a twist on an artist smock. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that looks like one of those French artist smocks, and then read the blurb and I was like, oh, right, okay, so it is based on that. So let's have a look at it. It's really gorgeous shape. So the real thing that made me think of the French artist smock is it's got these little pleat kind of gathering around the front. So it gives loads and loads of volume at the front of the dress. It's got a little pop over placket, so it's like a shirt. And then there's quite a lot of volume. I really like that you can either wear it kind of quite big and dramatic, or you can have a tie on it and cinch it in. I think it would suit loads of different people. I also think that you could lop this off and make it into a sort of a shorter blouse version as well if you wanted to, because I think it's a really lovely shape. And obviously, again, depending on the fabric that you use, it will make it look quite different. So if you made it in something quite drapey, it will not feel as kind of big and voluminous. Whereas if you made it in a kind of cotton, it's going to really kind of hold its shape more. So it's quite a versatile pattern, and I absolutely love it. I think it's just brilliant. I don't know, they're just really on a good run, Merchant & Mills, don't you think? They just, every time they release something new, I'm like, oh, I love that. So yeah, another one they've absolutely nailed. I just think it's gorgeous. So we've got a new pattern from the Makers Atelier, which is really exciting. I love this. It's the tie front blouse. So it's kind of like a classic pussy bow blouse style. It's quite loose fitting. Let me show you the line drawing. So there are two different options for the tie. So you can either have it with where it's a slightly thinner kind of band around the neckline which you tie into a bow, or there's an option where you have it much wider and you just don't tie it, you just sort of fold it over. And that to me feels quite vintage but quite classic. I think it's a really nice shape. It's quite useful, and it's got two different options for the sleeve. So you can either just have this kind of straight sewn seam, or you can put a proper cuff on it, buttons down the front. Yeah, I love it. It's just quite relaxed, and it's definitely made for something really lovely and drapey. But I think you could get a lot of wear out of this pattern. So yes. Oh, I haven't said how it comes. I've got distracted by this. So it's a PDF only, and it's available in sizes 4 to 20. So last but not least, we've got another blouse. It's a really great one. It's from Forget Me Not Patterns. This is PDF only, apologies. And it comes in a size UK 4 to 32. I really like this. I thought it was quite an interesting one. So it's, let me show you the line drawing so you can see what's going on. Quite simple shape actually. So it's got a lovely little like Peter Pan collar. It's got a little slit down the front so you can get it over your head. Quite voluminous sleeves that kind of come in, cinch in at the cuff. And then on the front there are bust darts, and on the back you can see there are fisheye darts so that you can add a bit of shaping around the back. It's kind of it's kind of a relaxed fit, but I wouldn't say it was loose fitting. And there is a second option, which I will show you the line drawing for, where you can add a ruffle around the neckline and at the sleeve head, which I think adds quite a lot of really nice detail to it. And then it has a little tie at the front. So to me, this pattern feels like the two variations look like completely different items. So if you are looking for a kind of pattern that you can get two for the price of one, this is definitely worth having a look at. And I think you can make it in loads of different fabrics. It's quite a nice one for spring. Again, it's quite a useful one if you work somewhere and you have to be a bit smarter. I love that Peter Pan collar. I just think it's flattering on so many people. So that is it from me. I hope that was useful and you found something nice to sew. We will be back soon with another video. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. Bye.